What is up, everybody? Sagar Koirala here, and today, we are diving headfirst into something absolutely terrifying. Something that will send shivers down your spine and make you question everything you thought you knew about the beautiful land of Nepal. Welcome to our countdown of the top 10 horror places of Nepal. We're not just talking about old wives' tales or campfire stories, we're talking about locations steeped in tragedy, mystery, and countless eyewitness accounts of the paranormal. These are the places where the veil between our world and the next is said to be at its thinnest, where shadows dance in your peripheral vision, and whispers echo in the dead of night. Get ready to explore some of the most spine-chilling locations that will leave you trembling with fear. I've spent weeks, no, months, researching these spots, digging through archives, and talking to locals who have experienced the unexplainable firsthand. We're going on a journey, you and I, into the heart of Nepal's darkest legends. From ancient forests where spirits are said to roam freely, to historic sites forever scarred by tragedy, each location on this list has a story that will make your blood run cold. This isn't just a list, it's an experience. So, dim the lights, grab a blanket, trust me, you're gonna need it, and prepare yourselves. Are you ready to confront the unknown? Are you prepared to hear tales that might keep you up at night? Because what we're about to uncover is unlike anything you've ever seen before. This is a side of Nepal that few dare to explore, and we're going to do it together. Let's get into it if you think you can handle it. This is going to be an absolutely insane ride, so buckle up. Alright, kicking off our list at number 10, we have the infamous Raniban forest. Now, when you think of a forest, you might picture birds chirping, sunlight filtering through the leaves, a peaceful escape. But Raniban is a whole different beast. Located near Kathmandu, this place isn't known for its serene beauty, but for an eerie, almost unnatural silence that blankets everything. Locals whisper tales of how the very air in Raniban feels heavy, oppressive, like the forest itself is holding its breath, waiting for something. It's a silence that's far from peaceful. It's a silence that screams a warning. Many who have dared to venture deep into Raniban, especially as dusk begins to settle, report an overwhelming sense of being watched. It's not just a fleeting feeling, it's a persistent, unnerving sensation that prickles the back of your neck. They speak of shadows that seem to move on their own, flitting between the ancient trees, always just out of direct sight. Imagine walking through dense woods, the only sound your own footsteps, and then a flicker in the corner of your eye. You turn, and there's nothing. But the feeling, that cold dread, it lingers. This isn't just imagination running wild, these are consistent accounts from multiple sources. The most chilling tales from Raniban revolve around ghostly apparitions. People have described seeing faint human-like figures drifting between the trees, sometimes appearing as translucent shapes, other times as dark silhouettes against the fading light. These aren't clear, distinct ghosts from a movie. They are more like ethereal remnants, echoes of something that once was. Some claim these are the spirits of those who met untimely ends within the forest's depths, forever bound to its shadowy embrace. The stories are so prevalent that many locals refuse to enter Raniban after sunset, believing it to be a domain where the dead walk freely. Think about that for a second. An entire forest, so feared that people who have lived nearby their whole lives won't step foot in it after dark. What could instill such profound fear? Is it the oppressive silence that amplifies every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig, turning them into something sinister? Or is it the genuine presence of something otherworldly, something that doesn't want to be disturbed? The sheer volume of anecdotal evidence suggests there's more to Raniban than just spooky stories. It's a place where the line between the natural and supernatural seems to blur into an unsettling haze. For those brave enough, or perhaps foolish enough to explore Raniban, the experience is often described as profoundly unsettling. Even during the day, there's an undercurrent of unease. But as night approaches, the forest transforms. The silence becomes deeper, the shadows lengthen and writhe, and the feeling of being an unwelcome intruder intensifies. Raniban Forest is a stark reminder that some places hold secrets, and some secrets are best left undisturbed. It's a place that truly earns its spot as one of Nepal's most haunted. Coming in at number 9, we journey to Devgat, a sacred confluence of rivers. A place of immense religious significance in Nepal. People come here for pilgrimage, for purification, and tragically it's also a traditional site for cremations. Now, where there are rituals involving life and death on such a grand scale, It's perhaps not surprising that stories of the supernatural begin to emerge. Devgat is revered, but it also carries an undercurrent of something much more spectral, especially when darkness falls over the riverbanks. The primary haunting claims at Devgat revolve around sightings of spirits and unexplained noises, particularly at night. Imagine the scene, the sacred rivers flowing silently under the moonlight, the embers of funeral pyres perhaps still glowing faintly in the distance. It's in this solemn, charged atmosphere that many have reported seeing ethereal figures. These aren't necessarily malevolent entities but rather lost souls, lingering spirits, perhaps unable to move on or simply drawn to the spiritual energy of the place. Locals and pilgrims alike have shared stories of fleeting glimpses of translucent forms near the water's edge or among the ancient trees lining the banks. The unexplained noises are another common theme. People camping nearby or those who live in the vicinity speak of hearing soft whispers when no one is around, disembodied voices carried on the night breeze, or even the faint sounds of weeping or chanting coming from deserted areas. These aren't the usual sounds of nature or distant village life. They are distinct, often unsettling, and seem to have no discernible source. Consider the sheer number of souls who have passed through Devgat, whose final rites were performed here. It's a place saturated with human emotion, with grief, with prayer. And it's believed that these intense energies can leave an imprint. Some accounts are more specific, more chilling. There are tales of feeling cold spots in otherwise warm areas, or the sudden, inexplicable sensation of being touched by an unseen hand. Others have reported seeing strange lights flickering over the water or moving through the cremation grounds late at night, lights that don't correspond to any known source. These experiences are often dismissed by skeptics, but for those who have lived them, they are profoundly real and deeply unsettling. The spiritual sanctity of Devgat seems to coexist with a very real, very palpable paranormal presence. Devgat's reputation as a haunted locale is complex because of its sacred nature. It's not just a scary place, it's a holy place where the spiritual and the supernatural seem to intertwine. The spirits here aren't always described as threatening, but their presence is a constant reminder of the thin veil between worlds. Whether it's the echoes of countless lives and deaths or something more, Devgat at night is said to be an entirely different realm, a place where you might encounter more than just the living. It's a place that commands respect, both for its holiness and its haunting mysteries. At number 8, we step into the historic heart of Nepal Bhaktapur Durbar Square. This UNESCO World Heritage Site is renowned for its stunning architecture, its vibrant culture, and its rich history. But beneath the beauty lies a tragic past, a past that many believe has left an indelible spiritual scar on the location. Specifically, we're talking about the devastating earthquake of 1934, a catastrophe that claimed thousands of lives and reduced many of Bhaktapur's ancient structures to rubble. It's the spirits of those who perished in that unimaginable disaster that are said to haunt this iconic square. Imagine the sheer terror and chaos of that day in 1934. Buildings collapsing, people trapped, lives extinguished in an instant. Such immense trauma, such sudden and widespread loss of life is often believed to create powerful spiritual imprints. Locals and even some visitors to Bhaktapur Durbar Square have reported experiencing phenomena they attribute to these lingering spirits. These aren't aggressive hauntings, but rather sorrowful, residual energies, like an echo of the tragedy that refuses to fade. Many of the paranormal accounts speak of a heavy atmosphere in certain parts of the square, particularly around areas that suffered the most damage or where many lives were lost. People describe sudden drops in temperature, feelings of intense sadness or despair washing over them for no apparent reason, or the distinct sensation of not being alone, even when surrounded by the daytime crowds. It's as if the emotional residue of the earthquake is still palpable, clinging to the ancient stones and courtyards. More specific claims include hearing faint, disembodied cries or murmurs, especially during quieter times like early morning or late evening, when the usual hustle and bustle of the square subsides. Some have reported seeing fleeting apparitions, shadowy figures that disappear when looked at directly, or movements in their peripheral vision that can't be explained. These are often interpreted as the spirits of the 1934 earthquake victims, perhaps confused, perhaps replaying their final moments, forever tied to the place of their demise. The sheer scale of the loss means that the spiritual energy could be immense. While Bhaktapur Durbar Square is a place of incredible historical and cultural significance, visited by thousands, its haunted reputation adds another layer to its profound story. It's a reminder that even the most beautiful places can hold deep sorrow. The spirits here are not typically described as malevolent, but rather as tragic figures, remnants of a devastating event. Visiting the square, one can't help but feel the weight of its history, and for some, that weight includes the presence of those who never left. It's a sobering thought that adds a chilling dimension to this ancient city. Chapter 4. Darahara Tower. The Fallen Sentinel's Ghostly Cries. Our seventh most haunted location is a site of more recent tragedy, but one that has quickly become a focal point for paranormal claims. The Darahara Tower in Kathmandu. Originally built in 1832, this iconic tower tragically collapsed during the devastating 2015 earthquake, claiming the lives of around 180 people who were inside or nearby. The sheer horror of that event, broadcast around the world, has left an indelible mark on the Nepali psyche, and many believe on the site itself. Locals and those who work or live near the rebuilt Darahara Tower, and the site of the original, have shared chilling accounts of paranormal activity. The most common reports are of hearing cries and screams, particularly at night, emanating from the area where the tower once stood proud. These aren't the sounds of the city. They are described as distinct human sounds of distress, echoing the terror of those final moments before the collapse. Imagine standing near the site, the city quiet around you, and then hearing those faint, desperate cries. It's enough to make your skin crawl. Beyond the auditory phenomena, people have also claimed to see shadows. These aren't just ordinary shadows cast by streetlights. They are described as dark, fleeting shapes, sometimes resembling human figures, moving quickly and disappearing. Some believe these are the restless spirits of those who died so suddenly and traumatically, unable to comprehend their fate or move on from the place of their death. The suddenness and violence of the event are key factors in many paranormal theories about why spirits might linger. The psychological impact of the 2015 earthquake was immense, and the Darahara Tower became a symbol of that loss. It's a place where a joyous tourist activity turned into a scene of unimaginable horror in seconds. This intense emotional energy, combined with the tragic loss of life, is believed by many to have created a powerful spiritual vortex. Even with the tower now rebuilt, the memory of what happened and the alleged spiritual remnants persist. It's a heavy place, charged with sorrow. Visiting the site of the Darahara Tower today is a poignant experience. While the new structure stands as a symbol of resilience, for many, it's impossible to forget the tragedy that unfolded there. The stories of ghostly cries and shadowy figures serve as a chilling reminder of the lives lost. Whether these are true paranormal occurrences or manifestations of collective grief and trauma, the area around Darahara is undeniably imbued with a somber, haunting atmosphere, making it a significant point on Nepal's map of haunted places. Chapter 5. Pashupatinath Temple Sacred Grounds and Spectral Guardians. At number 6, we venture into one of the most sacred Hindu temples in the world, Pashupatinath Temple in Kathmandu. This sprawling complex, located on the banks of the Bagmati River, is a vibrant center of religious life, a place of devotion, and significantly, a primary site for open-air cremations. It's this constant, intimate proximity to death and the transition of souls that many believe contributes to its reputation as a place where the veil between worlds is exceptionally thin, leading to sightings of ghostly figures and other strange occurrences. Pashupatinath is a place teeming with life, with pilgrims, sadhus, and ceremonies. Yet, amidst this vibrant spiritual energy, there are countless stories of encounters with the unexplained. Many of these accounts come from those who frequent the temple grounds, especially during the quieter hours of early morning or late at night, after the main throngs of devotees have departed. They speak of seeing shadowy figures moving silently through the courtyards or along the riverbanks near the cremation ghats. These aren't always perceived as threatening, but rather as lingering presences, perhaps spirits who are drawn to the temple's sanctity or are connected to the final rites performed there. Strange occurrences are also frequently reported. This can range from sudden, inexplicable drops in temperature in specific areas, to the feeling of being watched or even gently touched when no one is visibly present. Some have heard disembodied chants or whispers, distinct from the ongoing religious activities seeming to emanate from empty shrines or dark corners of the complex. Given that Pashupatinath has been a site of worship and final rites for centuries, perhaps even millennia, the sheer weight of spiritual energy and human history concentrated here is immense. The Agori Sadhus, ascetic practitioners who often meditate in cremation grounds and are associated with death rituals, are a prominent feature at Pashupatinath. While their practices are sacred and deeply symbolic, their presence adds to the mystical, and for some, unsettling atmosphere of the temple, particularly for those unfamiliar with their traditions. Some paranormal tales might be interwoven with the awe and mystery surrounding these figures, but many accounts come from ordinary individuals, pilgrims, and even temple staff, describing experiences they cannot logically explain. Pashupatinath Temple is a place where the cycle of life and death is confronted daily, openly, and with profound reverence. It's a spiritual powerhouse. This constant engagement with mortality, combined with intense devotion, creates an atmosphere unlike any other. It's not surprising that such a potent site would be associated with paranormal phenomena. The ghostly figures and strange happenings are seen by some not as hauntings in the terrifying sense, but as manifestations of the temple's deep spiritual significance, a place where the boundaries of existence are truly blurred. Chapter 6. The Royal Palace, a Nation's Trauma, a Palace's Ghosts. Securing the number 5 spot is a location steeped in one of Nepal's most shocking and tragic events, the Narayanhiti Royal Palace in Kathmandu. This was once the seat of the Nepali monarchy, a symbol of power and tradition. However, on June 1, 2001, it became the scene of an unimaginable royal massacre, where Crown Prince Dipendra allegedly killed his father, King Birendra, his mother, Queen Aishwarya, and several other members of the royal family before turning the gun on himself. This horrific event plunged the nation into mourning and disbelief, and many believe the palace has been haunted ever since by the spirits of the slain royals. The sheer brutality and emotional devastation of the massacre are said to have left an indelible psychic scar on the palace grounds. After the tragedy, the palace was eventually turned into a museum, opening its doors to the public. Staff members, security guards, and even some early visitors have reported a chilling array of paranormal experiences. These accounts often speak of an overwhelming sense of sadness and despair pervading certain rooms, particularly those where the killings took place. It's as if the sorrow of that night is permanently etched into the very fabric of the building. Specific ghostly encounters are also part of the palace's dark lore. There are whispers of seeing fleeting apparitions resembling members of the royal family, dressed in their regal attire, wandering the corridors or appearing in rooms they once frequented. Some have reported hearing faint sounds of distress, muffled conversations, or even the chilling sound of footsteps in empty hallways late at night. The atmosphere is often described as heavy, oppressive, and deeply unsettling, especially after dark when the palace is closed to the public and silence descends. Consider the immense shock and trauma experienced by the spirits in their final moments, a betrayal by one of their own, a sudden violent end within the supposed safety of their home. Paranormal experts often theorize that such traumatic deaths can lead to spirits becoming stuck, replaying the event, or unable to move on. The royal palace, with its grandeur now overshadowed by its bloody history, seems to be a prime candidate for such residual hauntings. The weight of a nation's grief also contributes to the palace's somber reputation. Even today, visiting the Narayanhiti Palace Museum can be a deeply moving and eerie experience. Knowing what transpired within its walls casts a long shadow over every exhibit and every room. The stories of ghostly encounters serve as a chilling reminder of the tragedy that befell the Shah dynasty. Whether it's the actual spirits of the royal family or the potent emotional residue of a national trauma, the royal palace is undeniably one of Nepal's most haunted and sorrowful landmarks, a place where history and horror are irrevocably intertwined. Moving to number 4 on our list, we ascend to the ancient and revered Changu Narayan Temple. Perched on a high hilltop, also known as Changu or Dholagiri, this temple is considered one of the oldest, if not the oldest, Hindu temple still in use in the Kathmandu Valley, with its origins tracing back as far as the 4th century. With such a vast expanse of history, with millennia of worship, rituals, and human lives interwoven with its sacred stones, it's no wonder that Changu Narayan is said to be haunted by ancient spirits, guardians of its long and storied past. The paranormal claims surrounding Changu Narayan are less about terrifying encounters and more about a profound sense of ancient presence. Visitors and priests alike have spoken of an almost palpable energy that permeates the temple complex, an energy that feels ancient and watchful. It's as if the countless generations of devotees, priests and protectors have left an indelible spiritual imprint. Some describe feeling as though they are being observed by unseen eyes, not in a malevolent way, but with a sense of solemn oversight, as if the original guardians of the temple still linger. More specific accounts involve subtle phenomena. There are tales of hearing faint, ancient chanting or the sound of traditional instruments when no ceremonies are taking place, particularly during the quiet solitude of early mornings or late evenings. Some have reported strange lights or orbs appearing in photographs taken around the temple, or fleeting shadowy movements glimpsed in the intricate carvings and dark corners of the ancient structures. These are often interpreted as the spirits of ancient priests or deities connected to the temple's earliest days, still maintaining their vigil. The sheer antiquity of Canggu Narayan sets it apart. Imagine the countless historical events this temple has witnessed, the empires that have risen and fallen around it, the centuries of devotion poured into its foundations. This immense passage of time, coupled with continuous worship, is believed to create a unique spiritual atmosphere where the past feels incredibly close to the present. The spirits here are not typically seen as the restless souls of tragic events, but rather as ancestral presences, deeply connected to the sanctity and history of the site. Visiting Canggu Narayan is like stepping back in time. The exquisite wood and stone carvings, the ancient inscriptions and the serene yet powerful atmosphere all contribute to a sense of awe and wonder. For those attuned to it, this sense of wonder can also include an awareness of something more, something ancient and ethereal. The spirits of Canggu Narayan, if they indeed exist, are seen more as timeless custodians than frightening ghosts, adding another layer of profound mystery to one of Nepal's most significant historical and religious treasures. Our number 3 pick takes us to the banks of the Kali Gandaki River, to the magnificent but melancholic Rani Mahal, often dubbed the Taj Mahal of Nepal. This grand palace was built in 1893 by General Khadga Shumsher Rana, in loving memory of his deceased wife, Tej Kumari Devi. While it stands as a testament to enduring love, its isolated location, its period of abandonment, and the tragic circumstances of its inspiration have fueled persistent rumors that the palace is haunted, primarily by the grieving spirit of the queen it was built for, or perhaps by the sorrow of the general himself. The story goes that Queen Tej Kumari, on her deathbed, expressed a wish for a grand memorial. The general, heartbroken, fulfilled her desire by constructing this opulent palace in a remote albeit beautiful location. However, the palace eventually fell into disrepair and was largely forgotten for many decades, swallowed by the jungle. It's during this period of neglect and isolation that many of the ghostly legends took root. Locals living in the sparse settlements nearby began to speak of strange occurrences emanating from the abandoned Mahal. The most prominent tales involve sightings of a spectral female figure, believed to be the ghost of Queen Tej Kumari, wandering the verandas and empty rooms of the palace, particularly on moonlit nights. She is often described as a sorrowful presence, perhaps still attached to the monument built in her honor or unable to find peace. Others report hearing faint sounds of weeping, melancholic music, or even the rustle of fine silks when the palace is supposedly empty. The remote and somewhat desolate atmosphere of the Rani Mahal, especially before its more recent restoration efforts, certainly lends itself to such chilling narratives. Beyond the queen's spirit, some stories also hint at the lingering sorrow of General Khadga Shumsher. He faced political turmoil and exile shortly after its construction, and perhaps his own unfulfilled life and longing are imprinted on the palace. The sheer emotional investment in building such a monument born from grief and love could in itself create a powerful residual energy. The palace, in its grandeur and isolation, becomes a physical manifestation of these intense emotions. Today, the Rani Mahal, partially restored, attracts adventurers and those intrigued by its romantic and haunting history. But even with increased visitors, the whispers of its spectral resident persist. The combination of its love story, its tragic inspiration, its period of decay, and its stunning but solitary setting makes the Rani Mahal a prime candidate for ghostly legends. It's a place where beauty and sorrow are deeply intertwined, and where the echo of a queen's memory, or perhaps her actual spirit, is said to linger by the river. At number 2, we delve into the subterranean depths of Siddha Gufa, the largest known cave in Nepal. Located near Bandipur, this colossal cavern plunges hundreds of meters into the earth, a labyrinth of massive chambers, narrow passages, and stunning stalactites and stalagmites. While it's a popular destination for adventurous trekkers and spelunkers, Siddha Gufa also harbors a darker reputation, with many reporting eerie sounds, unsettling feelings, and even sightings of ghostly figures within its shadowy recesses. It's a place where the earth itself seems to hold ancient, chilling secrets. Imagine venturing deep underground, far from the light of day, surrounded by the damp, cool air and the echoing silence of the cave. It's an environment that naturally preys on the senses, but the experiences reported in Siddha Gufa go beyond mere claustrophobia or the tricks of a disoriented mind. Many who have explored its depths speak of hearing distinct, unexplained noises, soft whispers that seem to have no source, distant moans or sighs that echo through the chambers, or even the faint sound of chanting or drumming, as if ancient rituals are still being performed in the darkness. The sheer size and complexity of Siddha Gufa mean that many parts of it remain largely unexplored or are difficult to access. It's in these deeper, less traveled sections that some of the more chilling encounters are said to occur. There are tales of seeing fleeting, shadowy figures darting between rock formations or disappearing into unlit passages. Some cavers have reported an overwhelming sense of being watched, or a sudden, inexplicable feeling of dread or panic in certain areas of the cave, compelling them to retreat. The cave has been used for centuries, perhaps by ascetics for meditation, as its name Siddha, meaning enlightened one, might suggest, or possibly for other, less documented purposes. This long history of human presence, combined with the natural, primal environment of a vast underground cavern, creates a potent atmosphere for paranormal speculation. Are these the spirits of ancient hermits still meditating in the darkness? Or are they something older, more elemental, tied to the earth itself? The darkness of a cave can play tricks on the eyes, and the acoustics can distort sounds, but the consistency of these reports from different individuals over time is noteworthy. Exploring Siddha Gufa is an awe-inspiring experience, witnessing the raw power and beauty of nature's underground architecture. But for many it's also an undeniably eerie one. The deep darkness, the labyrinthine passages, and the weight of the earth above create a sense of isolation and vulnerability. The stories of eerie sounds and ghostly figures add another layer of trepidation, making Siddha Gufa not just a natural wonder, but also one of Nepal's most profoundly unsettling and potentially haunted locations. It's a place that reminds you how small you are, and what might lurk in the ancient darkness. And finally, at number 1, the most haunted place in Nepal, according to the chilling tales and persistent local lore, is the ancient Nuwari village of Kokana. Located just south of Kathmandu, Kokana is known for its rich cultural heritage, its traditional farming practices, and its production of mustard oil. However, beneath this veneer of rustic charm lies a dark history, a history that many believe has cursed the village and allowed the spirits of its troubled past to linger, making it a place of profound unease for those who know its secrets. Kokana's haunted reputation stems from several tragic events and grim legends. One of the most prominent stories involves a devastating plague or epidemic centuries ago that wiped out a significant portion of its population. Such mass death and suffering are often believed to leave a powerful spiritual residue. Locals whisper that the spirits of those who perished so tragically still roam the narrow alleyways and ancient courtyards of the village, their sorrow and pain forever imprinted on the land. This isn't just a single haunted house, it's an entire community believed to be affected. Furthermore, Kokana has in the past been associated with certain controversial traditional practices and sacrifices that, while culturally significant to some, are viewed by others as contributing to the village's dark aura. There are tales of specific areas within or around Kokana that are considered particularly active with paranormal phenomena, places where people avoid going after dark. These stories often involve sightings of shadowy figures, inexplicable cold spots, disembodied voices, and an overwhelming sense of being watched or followed. The villagers themselves are often reticent to speak openly about these matters with outsiders, but the belief in lingering spirits and a troubled spiritual atmosphere is deeply ingrained in the local consciousness. It's said that the very air in Kokana can feel heavy, especially at night, and that a palpable sense of sorrow or unease pervades certain parts of the village. This isn't something that can be easily dismissed when it's a collective experience shared by generations of inhabitants. The weight of history here is tangible and, for many, terrifying. Kokana, with its ancient architecture and traditional way of life, feels like a place where the past is very much alive. But for those who believe in its haunted reputation, it's not just the cultural past that lives on, but also its spectral one. The combination of historical tragedy, deeply rooted local beliefs, and consistent anecdotal evidence of paranormal encounters makes Kokana our most chilling haunted location in Nepal. It serves as a stark reminder that some places are forever marked by their history and that the spirits of the past may never truly rest. And there you have it, guys. Our terrifying journey through the top 10 most haunted places in Nepal. From the eerie silence of Raniban Forest to the lingering sorrow of Kokana Village, these locations are steeped in mystery, tragedy, and countless chilling tales. Thanks for joining us on this terrifying journey through Nepal's most haunted places. I told you it was going to be intense, and these stories, these places, they definitely deliver on the chills. It really makes you think about the history and the energy that can get trapped in a place, doesn't it? Exploring these legends really gives you a different perspective on the beautiful landscapes and ancient culture of Nepal. It shows that even in the most serene settings, there can be dark undercurrents and stories that make your hair stand on end. I hope this countdown has given you a glimpse into the paranormal side of this incredible country, and maybe, just maybe, made you double-check your locks tonight. Remember, these are more than just stories to many. They are lived experiences and deeply held beliefs. If you enjoyed this dive into the unknown, if you felt those shivers down your spine, then please show some love. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more spine-chilling content. Let me know in the comments below which of these places you found the most terrifying, or if you know of any other haunted locations in Nepal that we should investigate. Your engagement means the world to us, and it helps us bring you more of the content you love. Stay safe out there, and until next time, try not to think too much about what goes bump in the night.